Heidi Heckelbeck cast a spell. Chapter 1. A spell for Melanie. Abracadabra, alakazam, presto chango. Heidi Heckelbeck flipped open her book of spells. The book had been a gift from her grandmother, who was a witch. Heidi's mother was also a witch, as well as her aunt Trudy and of course Heidi. Heidi's dad and little brother Henry were just regular people. The book's worn pages crinkled as she thumbed through them. Bingo, Heidi said to herself. She had found the spell. How to make someone forget. Heidi had discovered it last night. Tucked inside the page was a piece of paper. Heidi unfolded it. It was a list of all the rotten things Melanie Melthrop had done to Heidi on her first day of school yesterday. I'm going to teach Princess Melanie a lesson once and for all, said Heidi. In 3 weeks, Heidi's second-grade class would be performing The Wizard of Oz. Heidi planned to cast the spell on evening night. Imagine how Minnie Melanie will feel when she forgets all her lines, thought Heidi. She could hardly wait. Heidi studied the list of ingredients she would need for the spell. Eyes of a gingerbread man, black plastic spider, piece of straw, teaspoon salt, 3 cornflakes, 2 sour gummy bears, 1 puppy tooth, 1 tablespoon of catnip, 3 splashes of water. Wow, thought Heidi, where am I going to find all this stuff? It would be a treasure hunt, that was for sure. She copied the ingredients onto the piece of paper and stuck it in her pocket. Then she read the directions carefully. Mix ingredients together in a red sand pail. Close your eyes and place 1 hand over the pail. Hold your witches of Westwick medallion in your other hand. Chant the following words. O spells, let your powers loose. Help me quickly, show me soon the signs. Make name of person, forget his or her lines. I'd better get started, thought Heidi. Chapter 2. Crunchy, salty waffles. Heidi stashed the book of spells in her keepsake box and shoved it under the bed. Then she found the silver drawstring pouch that would hold her spell ingredients. The pouch had been a gift from Aunt Trudy. She tied it to her belt loop and dashed downstairs to the kitchen, where Mom and Henry was waiting. Mom had made waffles for breakfast. She placed a waffle and orange slice in front of Heidi. You know what I'm in the mood for? Asked Heidi. Let me guess, said Mom. Not waffles. Cornflakes, said Heidi. Heidi's mother raised an eyebrow. Haven't you heard? Asked Mom. You hate cornflakes. I know, said Heidi, but I'm craving crunchy waffles. Me too, said Henry. Heidi rolled her eyes. Do you even know what crave means? Asked Heidi. Yup, said Henry. It means you obviously have to have something or else you will go bananas. Wow, you're smarter than I thought, said Heidi. Mom set a box of cornflakes on the table. Heidi sprinkled some on her waffles. Then she snuck a few into her pouch. Now she needed salt. But first she had to distract Henry. Cool, said Heidi. There's a mage on the back of the cereal box. Let me see, said Henry. Heidi slid the cereal box to Henry. He studied the mage while he ate. Heidi grabbed the salt shaker. She unscrewed the top and pulled some into her pouch. Then she put the salt shaker back on the table. Henry looked up. "Hey, Mom," he said. "Heidi just put salt on her crunchy waffles." "So?" said Heidi. "So that's gross," said Henry. Then Dad walked into the kitchen. "I like salt on my waffles too," said Dad, "and ketchup and bacon." Heidi and Henry groaned. "Okay, okay," said Mom. "Hop to it, kiddos, or you will miss the bus." Chapter 3. Bruce. Heidi looked for some of the spell ingredients on the way to the bus stop. She didn't see a piece of straw or a single puppy tooth along the way. How am I supposed to find the puppy tooth anyway? She wondered. Heidi had never seen one lying around before. Did puppies even lose their teeth? Heidi had no idea, but she obviously had to have one to complete her spell. "Woohoo!" a voice called. "Heidi! Henry!" Aunt Trudy waved from her porch. Her cottage looked like a gingerbread house with pink and green trim. She had a bathrobe and held a cup of tea in her hand. Her red hair was the same color as Heidi's, only Aunt Trudy wore red in a braid. Heidi rubbed Aunt Trudy. She learned all kinds of cool witch stuff from her stuff that her mother would not share. "Come visit me after school," Aunt Trudy sung. "Sure thing," said Heidi, waving back. Henry waved too. The school bus pulled to the club a few houses up. Heidi and Henry ran like crazy to catch it. Henry hopped on board and sat next to his new friend Dudley. Henry had only taken the bus once, but he acted like an old pro. This was Heidi's first time, since her mom had given her a ride yesterday. Heidi looked around for her friend Lucy Leicester. Lucy had been nice to Heidi on her first day of school, but there was no sign of Lucy on the bus. Then she noticed Lucy's friend Bruce Dickinson. Bruce had a short brown hair and wore tortoise-shell glasses. The seat beside him was empty. Heidi tried to act cool as she walked up the aisles. Then she sat down next to Bruce. "Hey," said Bruce. "Hey," said Heidi. The bus groaned as it began to move. "So, why'd you leave your old school anyway?" asked Bruce. "I didn't have an old school," said Heidi. "My mom homeschooled me and my brother." "That's so cool," said Bruce. "Did you watch TV and play games when you ever feel like it?" "No way," said Heidi. "We had a strict schedule, but sometimes we got to have school in our pajamas." "Sounds comfy," said Bruce. "So, are you excited about the school play?" "Not really," said Heidi. "Me neither," said Bruce. "I'd rather be working on my sticker tracker." "What's a sticker tracker?" asked Heidi. "It's a special sticker I invented," said Bruce. "You can stick it on letters, people, even pets. Then you can track an object on a webcam. I called it Beaker Sticker." "That's neat," said Heidi. "Have you tested it?" "Yeah, I tested it on my puppy," said Bruce. "I saw him dig up my mom's tulip bulbs from my laboratory." "Have you have a puppy?" asked Heidi. "And a laboratory?" "Yup," said Bruce. "He's a white lab named Benjamin Franklin, but we call him Frankie for short. My laboratory is in the basement." "Has Frankie lost any teeth?" asked Heidi eagerly. "Not yet," said Bruce. "Can I have one if he does?" asked Heidi. "I guess so," said Bruce. "I will trade you a shark tooth for a puppy tooth," said Heidi. Deal, said Bruce. Will you promise to check his puppy bed every day? Asked Heidi. Promise, said Bruce. I will track him with a bicker sticker too. They shook on it. Heidi felt pretty good for a change, but the feeling only lasted for about a second because soon she heard a whack. A backpack smacked Bruce in the back of the head. Owie! Yelped Bruce. His eyeglass sailed across two seats and landed in the aisles. Heidi gasped. Who would do such a rotten thing? She wondered. It must have been Minnie Melanie. She whipped around to get a good look. Chapter 4 Toads and Mice. When Heidi turned around, she came to face with a squinty-eyed boy with a pug nose and freckles. He gave Heidi the evil eyes. Heidi turned right back around. Her friend Bruce had his arms out like a zombie and was gasping the air. Poor Bruce! He couldn't see a thing without the glasses. Bickerson's blind, said the bully as he laughed. Heidi spotted Bruce's glasses on the floor. She drove down and grabbed them, and she crawled back to her seat. Heidi noticed the bully's sneakers. She gently tugged the laces and untied them. Then she jumped to her feet and handed the glasses to Bruce. Thanks, he said. No problem, said Heidi. The kid began to file off the bus. The bully shoved his way down the aisle, but before he could get to the stairs, he tripped over his shoelaces and stumbled to the ground. Everyone clapped and laughed. Did you have something to do with that? Asked Bruce. Maybe, said Heidi. Bruce held up his right hand and Heidi slapped him five. Who was that anyway? Asked Heidi as they made their way off the bus. 12 is Templeton, said Bruce. He's a fifth grader and the biggest bully in the whole school. Wow, thought Heidi. School was much easier at home. The morning seemed to whiz by. Melanie held her nose whenever she saw Heidi, but nothing else bad happened. Heidi had lunch with Bruce and Lucy. Next, she yawned her way through the drama class. When school was finally over, she was able to visit Aunt Trudy. Heidi ran from the bus stop to Aunt Trudy's rang the bell. Aunt Trudy parrot squawked in the kitchen. She opened the door and gave Heidi a squeeze. Heidi got a whiff of flowers, tea, and spice. Aunt Trudy ran a mail-order perfume business from home. She made all her perfumes and witch rolls in her kitchen. Come on in, sang Aunt Trudy. I've made apple cider. Heidi brushed through the bead bed curtain that laid into the living room. She took off her coat and sat down on the couch. Aunt Trudy's cat, Ange and Hilda, jumped onto her lap. Aunt Trudy sat down on a soft mushroom-shaped stool. She gave Heidi some ginger snap and apple cider. So, how's your school going? Asked Aunt Trudy. Not so good, said Heidi. I know it's hard being new, said Aunt Trudy. Tell me about it. Heidi told Aunt Trudy about Minnie Melanie and how she had gotten Heidi cast as a scary tree in the class school play. She also told her about the bully on the school bus. Give Melanie time, said Aunt Trudy. She's not used to having a new girl in the class. And for the bully, just ignore him. I bet if you do, he will stop bothering you. I wish I could cast a spell on both of them, said Heidi. By the way, do you have a black plastic spider? Aunt Trudy laughed at first. She knew exactly what Heidi was up to. But then she sighed and looked at Heidi with a raised eyebrow. You must be careful with your powers, said Aunt Trudy. You can't turn people into toads and mice, or make them forget, just because they made you mad. I just want to scare Melanie, said Heidi. I would reverse the spell after the play. Witches have to solve their problems without magic first, said Aunt Trudy. That's why they go to school. Have you ever practiced magic on your customers? Asked Heidi. Never, said Aunt Trudy, and you must promise me you will never use magic at school. Maybe Aunt Trudy was right. Maybe Heidi should just learn how to get along with others. Okay, agreed Heidi, but she was careful not to promise. After their snack, Aunt Trudy had to get back to work. She gave Heidi then a hug and asked her to take out the trash before she left. Heidi carried the paper bag of trash to the barrier. On top the way, she noticed the cat toy on top of the trash. She pulled it and it felt with her fingers. It felt like it was stuffed with pine needles. Then she sniffed it. Catnip, thought Heidi. That's one of the spell ingredients. She decided to take the cat toy with her, just in case. She stuffed it in her pouch and dumped the paper bag into the barrier. Then she ran down the sidewalk for home. Chapter 5 Timber Heidi stopped thinking about casting spell and worked on getting along with others. When Melanie made fun of the clothes, Heidi ignored her. When Travis gave her an evil eye, she pretended not to notice. And when Lucy wanted to be first on the monkey bars, Heidi let her go first. Heidi was a good citizen for 3 whole weeks, but then everything went bonkers at dress rehearsal. Heidi rubbed brown face paint on her face and has to look like tree bark. Then she helped Lucy stuff her curly dark hair into an old lady wig. Hello, Aunt Em, said Heidi. Lucy laughed. You should see my munchkin wig, said Lucy. She pulled another wig from her backpack. It had orange curly hair with a rubber band perched on top. Scary, right? Said Lucy. Heidi laughed so hard she snorted. That's what's so funny? Asked Bruce. Heidi and Lucy turned around. Bruce had a silver face paint, silver clothes, and silver kitchen funnel on top of his head. He held a plastic axe in his hands. The girls laughed even harder. I'm the tillman, said Bruce. So what? So you look like you belong in a junkyard, said Lucy. Well, you look like you belong in an old folks' home, said Bruce. And Heidi looked like she belonged in a pig's sty, said Melanie. Melanie was wearing her Dorothy costume, but she acted like the Wicked Witch. Mrs. Noddywanks, their drama teacher, clapped her hands. Please put on your costume, Heidi, she said. They joined 2 other students to a scary apple tree. They already had on their costume. Mrs. Noddywanks lowered the cardboard tree trunk over Heidi's body. Heidi could barely move. She had to twist the trunks to find a hole to her face. Then she poked her arms through the holes in either side of the tree. Hold your arms in the air like branches, said Mrs. Noddywanks. Heidi held her arms. She felt like total ding-dong. Please, 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 everyone, called Mrs. Noddywanks. Now, let's start by practicing the apple tree scene. Come on, Stanley, said said Melanie. Her rubby slipper clacked down the stairs in front of the stage. She held a basket with a stuffed Toto picked out. Strangely, Stonewacker had a paint of the scarecrow. He was Melanie's closest friend. "Action!" said Mrs. Nuddywanks. Dorothy ran up the stairs onto the stage. "Oh, look!" she said. "Apples!" She tried to pick an apple from one of the trees, but it slapped her hands. "Ouch!" cried Dorothy. "Get your grubby hand paw off my apple," said the tree. "Did you say something?" asked Dorothy. "We don't have talking trees in Kansas." "Go pick on someone else," said the tree. "Yeah," said the second tree. Heidi watched from the hole in her tree. "Come on, Dorothy," said the scarecrow. "You don't want to eat those wormy apples." "How dare you make fun of my apples," said the first tree. "Fire away, guys." The tree launched their styrofoam apples. Dorothy and the scarecrow dodged the apples. They also picked up a few for Dorothy's basket. When Dorothy stood up, she bumped one of Heidi's branches on purpose. Heidi's costume shifted to one side. "Help!" cried Heidi. "I can't see." She teared one way to the other, torted to other. She turned in circles, and then splat! Heidi tipped over on center stage. "Timber!" said Melanie. She nudged Stanley, and they both laughed. Heidi could hear Mrs. Nuddywanks scurry across the stage. She pulled Heidi's costumes off. "Are you okay, dear?" asked Mrs. Nuddywanks. Heidi's hair was tangled and stuck to her face paint. She felt too embarrassed to notice she was hurt. "I'm fine," said Heidi, but Heidi wasn't fine. She was furious. That Melanie needs to learn a lesson once and for all. Chapter 6. Frankie. The spell was black on. Tomorrow was opening night, and Heidi had to find the rest of the ingredients she still needed. Teaspoon of salt, cornflakes, sour gummy worms, puppy tooth, splash of water. Heidi studied the list. Candy will be easy, she thought. She ran to the kitchen party and found a plastic Halloween pumpkins. She dumped the leftover candy on the floor and shipped through mini candy bars and loose candy corns. Then, like a glittering gem in the treasure chest, Heidi uncovered a black plastic spider. "Yes," said Heidi, as she held up her find. "Not so fast," said Henry, who was standing in front of the doorway. "That's mine." "Finders keepers," said Heidi. "Give it," said Henry, "or I will tell." "Wait," said Heidi. "I will trade my mini lightsaber I've got at the burger pit." "Done," said Heidi. "It's on my nightstand," said Heidi. Heidi bolted upstairs. Phew, thought Heidi, but she still needed sour gummy worms. Heidi's mother loved sour gummies, gummy worms, gummy bears, you name it. Heidi tiptoed across the kitchen and pulled open her mother's secret candy drawer. She saw butterscotch candy and mints. They have to be in here somewhere. In the drawers. Her hand hit something. Aha! Heidi pulled out a small crumpled bag from back of the drawer. She peeked inside. She saw ragged ironing and sour gummy worms. "Score!" said Heidi. She quickly stuffed 2 sour gummy worms into her pouch and ran one into her mouth. "Heidi," called Mom, "time to go." Heidi shoved a bag back in the drawer. "Okay," said Heidi, trying to act normal. Heidi had a playmate with Bruce. He had asked her over to see his laboratory. Mom drove Heidi to Bruce's house. He answered the door in his right-left coat and safety glasses. His puppy, Frankie, wagged his tail and barked at Heidi. Heidi let Frankie sniff her hand. Has he lost any teeth yet? Asked Heidi. Not that I know of, said Bruce. Heidi followed Bruce down to the basement. She looked around at all his experiments. Bruce had built a robot and a tornado made out of chicken wire and cotton balls. Some things were labeled top secret. Would you like to see how the beaker sticker works? Asked Bruce. Sure, said Heidi. Bruce tapped some keys on his computer. Heidi watched the screen. She saw something moving. That's Frankie, said Bruce. Heidi couldn't see Frankie, but she could see what he was doing. Is he supposed to be eating hamburger buns? Asked Heidi. Bruce looked closely at the screen. Oh no, he said. Come on. Heidi and Bruce raced up to the stairs to the kitchen. Then they found Bruce happily munching on the hamburger rolls and wagging his tail. Bruce tugged on the bag of rolls. Frankie growled playfully. Give him the chew toy, said Bruce. Heidi spotted a basket of chew toys and grabbed a plastic pork chop. Here, Frankie, said Heidi, waving the pork chop back and forth. Frankie had no interest in the fake pork chop. He barked and whined at the hamburger roll, which were now on the counter. Heidi was about to toss the pork chop back into the basket when she noticed something stuck in the side. It was a tooth. I found a puppy tooth in the chew toy, said Heidi. Let me see, said Bruce. Heidi picked the tooth out of the pork chop and handed it to Bruce. That's so cool, said Bruce. He pulled a magnifying glass out of his lab coat and got a better look. May I still trade you for a shark tooth? Asked Heidi. She tried not to sound too eager. Sure, said Bruce. I'd much rather have a shark tooth any day. He handed the tooth to Heidi, and she popped it into her pouch. Now she had nearly all the ingredients for her spell. Just 3 more to go and a sand pail. I promise to bring a shark tooth to school tomorrow, said Heidi. Cool, said Bruce. Then they thumped back down the stairs to the basement and checked out some more science experiments. Chapter 7 Showtime Butterflies, jitterbugs, showtime. Well, almost. Heidi had 4 hours before opening night. She still had to find a couple more spell ingredients. The splashes of water would be easy, so would the sand pail. A piece of straw and an eye of gingerbread man would be trickier. After school, Heidi's mother took Henry and Heidi to Lulu's bakery. Mom had ordered cupcakes for the cast party. Heidi prayed she would find the eye of a gingerbread man at the bakery. This would be her only chance. Heidi stayed up front while Henry and Mom followed Lulu to the back of the store. When they were far enough away, Heidi turned to the lady behind the counter. Do you have any eyes for gingerbread people? She whispered. The lady thought for a moment. They will be out of a season, she said, but I will check. She opened and closed several little drawers. Then she pulled out a little strip of paper. The paper was dotted with tiny sets of candy eyes. How many do you need? Asked the lady. Just one, said Heidi. One eye? Asked the lady. One eye did sound kind of strange. I mean 1 pair, said Heidi. Here, said the lady. Take what's left on the sheet. How much? Asked Heidi. No charge, said the lady, and she handed a strip of candy eyes to Heidi. Thank you, said Heidi. She gently folded the paper and put it in her pouch. Lulu carried the cupcakes to the counter. Each cupcake had a Wizard of Oz topper. I want Toto, said Henry. I want the Luby slipper, said Heidi. Heidi's mom paid for the cupcakes, and then she went home to pick up Dad. I forgot something in the house, said Heidi. Make it fast, said Mom. You don't want to be late on the opening night. Inside, Heidi carefully placed a pouch, her medallion, measuring spoon, a pouch of a bottle of water, a spoon, and a pair of scissors in the shopping bag. Then she raced to the garage and unstacked the sand pails. She tossed the red one in the shopping bag. Then she jumped to the cleaning closet and plucked a bristle from a broom. Oh no, thought Heidi, those dumb bristles are made of plastic, not straw. How can a house with two witches have a fake broom? Heidi slammed the closet door behind her. She had everything she needed except for one crummy piece of straw. Now her spell was ruined. She grabbed her shopping bag anyway and ran to the car. At school, Heidi ignored everyone backstage. She put on her makeup and tree costume. Then she peeked around the curtain to see if Aunt Trudy had arrived. As she looked out at the audience, someone pushed her from behind. Heidi stumbled outstage as Melanie and Stanley cracked up behind the curtains. Heidi whirled around. She tried to find the split in the curtain, but all she found was more fabric. Then Lucy opened the curtains and yanked Heidi backstage. Are you okay? Asked Lucy. Heidi wanted to scream, but then she looked at Stanley and got an idea. Help me out of the costume, said Heidi. I need to use the bathroom. Lucy lifted the tree trunks over Heidi's head. Hurry up, said Lucy. The play is about to start. I will only be a sec, said Heidi. Heidi grabbed her shopping bag. As she walked past Stanley, she plucked a piece of straw from his scarecrow costume. This will do the trick, she thought. Then Heidi smiled wickedly. Now she had everything she needed to cast her spell. Chapter 8. The spell is on. Heidi hid the bathroom stall and set the sand pail on the toilet seat. She peeled a candy eye from the strip of paper and dropped it in the pail. Then she added the spider, the straw, the gummy bears, and the puppy tooth, and the 3 cornflakes. Heidi measured a teaspoon of salt and added it to mix. And then she snipped a tiny hole in the cat toy and added a tablespoon of catnip. She added 3 splashes of water and mixed the ingredients together with a spoon. Then Heidi closed her eyes. She put her right hand over the pail and added the medallion in her hand. Heidi chanted the word of the spell. Oh, spell, just let your powers loose. Help me quickly, show me soon the signs. Make Melanie Methrop forget her lines. Now the joke will be on Melanie, thought Heidi. Heidi gathered her things and headed backstage. The play had started, and there was Melanie outstage, scratching her head. She couldn't remember her lines. The spell had worked. Mrs. Nudewonks gave Melanie her opening lines. Oh, Toto, she said, I wish I could go somewhere over the rainbow. Melanie tried to repeat the words, but she forgot them again. Kids backstage whispered and laughed. Melanie's face turned red. She began to cry. Mrs. Nudewonks ran off stage. Ladies and gentlemen, she said, we're going to take a short break and be right back. The curtain squawked and it closed. Mrs. Nudewonks put her arms around Melanie. It's only the jitters, she said. Take a deep breath. What's the matter with me? Melanie wailed. How did I become so terrible, Dorothy? Just then something strange happened. Something so crazy. Heidi had to pinch herself. She, Heidi Heckelbeck, felt sorry for Melanie. How can this be? She wondered. Melanie is my worst enemy. But Heidi couldn't bear to see Melanie so upset. Heidi knew what she felt like, and now she had made someone feel the same way. There was only one thing to do. Chapter 9. A Star Inborn. Heidi ran back to the bathroom with her things. She entered a stall and set the red pail on the toilet seat. Heidi put her right hand over the pail and held her medallion in her hand. She closed her eyes and reversed the spell. Thank you. Now all is well. Undo my work and receive the spell. As soon as Heidi walked out of the bathroom, she heard Melanie's voice. I remember my lines, Melanie shouted. Oh, good, thanks heavens, said Mrs. Nudinwongs. Okay, children, take your places. After that, nobody tripped and no one forgot a single line. At the end, everyone came out of stage for their balls. Heidi could hear her dad cheering for her from the audience. The play wasn't so bad, thought Heidi, but she was glad it was over. You were the best scary tree ever, said Dad as he handed Heidi a cupcake with a ruby slipper on top. I want one too, said Henry. Me too, said Mom. We'll be right back, said Dad, as Mom and Henry set off on a cupcake hunt. Then Aunt Trudy gave Heidi a big hug. Isn't it a bit strange that Melanie forgot lines? Asked Aunt Trudy. Then suddenly, just like that, she remembered them. I can't explain it. Can you? The end.